Guys and gals, hello. Just gonna do some decanting here. Hope everyone's good as usual. I guess that's the best we can ask for these days. Anyway, I want to decant some of my rocket fuel into my atomizer because I'm out of it in my satchel case and I always want to have it with me. But at the same time, I want to tell my SAUVAGE story. Back in 2016, I did not like this when it came out. When did this come out? In 2015 or so? And just like Blue de Chanel, I when that came out in 2010, I was like, this is not Chanel. But when this came out, I remember smelling it and I didn't like it. And then even worse, I went on the hype train against it when I started my journey. As I got my Eau Extreme and I got into La Nuit de l'Homme and so on, right? I don't think I have to use this. I'll show you why. The sprayers in here are so good. When you decant, try to do a stream of liquid as much as possible. Now, I think you probably know what I mean. Instead of an aerosol spray, right? Try to have it come out without air and just a stream of liquid, which I think I'm doing right here. Right, here's the real spray, right? Shh, with the air. And we all know the Dior sprayers, right? Really atomize it. But when you're doing this a lot, you don't have the time. You got to pump. So I didn't like SAUVAGE. I went on the bandwagon that, oh, it's metallic and it's synthetic. I just didn't like it, right? I was into my La Nuit de l'Homme and maybe some DHI and stuff like that, and maybe some Aventus clones and Aventus decants. So how did I get SAUVAGE? What happened was I was on the lookout always for OG La Nuit de l'Homme, right? And I had my 2015 bottle, which is fine and great. But, you know, when you just start doing this, you believe the hype. So I'm in Nordstrom's and I look at the tester for La Nuit de l'Homme and it turns out to be the tester is a 2011, right? I checked it right there. And they had another one, an unopened one. So, of course, the SA said, we can't sell it. Can't sell it. Right, this is 2011 La Nuit de l'Homme 100 ml. Then I bring over the manager. She brings over the manager, and then I start talking to her. This young girl, some tattoos. This is Nordstrom's, right? Maybe she looks like she's from Portland or Seattle. She turned out to be really cool. I said, please let me buy these off of you. And I can't sell them to you, sir. I can't sell them to you. Well, what ended up happening was she ended up giving me the partial tester. And as I look back, she ended up giving me the full bottle of the other one, two 2011s. It turns out I found other OG testers, well, close to OG testers at Neiman Marcus with the same thing. I think I found 2012. Okay, this is full. She let me have them. All right. I'm not imagining this. It was both of them. And I was like, hey, can I take you out to dinner or something? Or wait, she could be my daughter. I can't sell you these, right? That's the thing. So as a result, I felt so exhilarated, so thankful, so happy. Sauvage was getting hyped at that time. I picked up the 100 ml box of it, said, look, I'm going to buy this. All right, and then can you put it on that salesperson's, can you give her the sale? I'm going to buy the Sauvage. All right. And so I just threw it in there, and I bought that for $100 or whatever it was, $80, $90. Boom. Oh, got some on my beer. So that's how I got my bottle of 100 ml Sauvage, which I don't have anymore. That's another story. Sent it in the mail. I was going to go see somebody, but never. Then I started wearing the thing. I started wearing the sucker and got introduced to in Broxton the sweet dry down of this, the sweet, airy rocket fuel of a dry down of Sauvage. And then, the opening strong pepper. I don't love pepper, but it's in here. But it's pink pepper, right? Francois de Machine. And I started loving it. I started loving its performance in the hot weather. I started loving how other people just right off the bat would say, oh my God, you smell great. What is that? Girlfriends and friends. And I love the fact that it was a beast. And it jumped off your skin. It got reignited with heat and sweat. All right. Havas does that. It gets reignited, right? It dries down. You can't smell it anymore. You're in air conditioning. And then you start moving around or dancing or going outside and it's hot and you start sweating and slammo, bam, it gets lit. There's nothing like this. And then I started dismissing all the rumors like generic, yeah, well, maybe it smells like body gel or something. I never used that stuff. Or Axe spray, I never used it. But bottom line is it smells clean. And then, oh, it's so generic. Generic. What before this smelled like this? What came before this? All right? I mean, Bleu de Chanel, yes, blue, but not to this extent. Not to this extent. You can call it strong and chemically and synthetic. But yeah, blue. But then Dior came out with their own. So I still ask to this day, well, what before Sauvage, as people call it, or Sauvage, smelled like it? And I don't think there was anything. I mean, you had Acqua di Gio and you had others. But I think this was groundbreaking. So in my opinion, I think it's groundbreaking. And maybe it'll come out in the next 20 years or 10 years. I'm not pushing for it. I don't care. And frankly, I hope everyone hates it. And even the mainstream people hate it, so they don't wear it. Because I've always worn it. I've worn it for 3.5 years now. Or more, 4 years. So that's how I came upon it. By accident, I just said, I'm getting the bottle because it's beautiful. It's a Dior. It's a gorgeous bottle, first of all. And just because I got so lucky with the La Nuit de l'Homme, that's the way I am. I want to give something to that person, or there's no way I was going to just take it for free and leave. So that's the God's honest truth. She couldn't sell me the 2011 batches of La Nuit alone, like 1 2/3 bottles, so 1 3/4 bottles of it. Those were my first close to vintage bottles of La Nuit alone, and they were great. They are great. I still have, I have a 2010, and I got 2012, and subsequently the same way at Neiman Marcus for my essay there, and she stealthily sold me them, packaged them in the later La Nuit box. But that's beside the point. I just wanted to show and relay to you my Sauvage story, and I'm still wearing it. I love it. I guess you can call this a little bit of a review. Might as well. Okay, go. Half a spray to the gym. Half a spray, man, to the gym. Not that I go to the gym a lot these days anymore. All the way up to 5 sprays or so to the club, which I don't do. But in between, like 3 sprays, 3.5. Boom. Got a really impressive cloud around you. I don't have to tell you. And I'm not trying to convince you. I just want to let you know that pretty interesting story about Sauvage, something that's not really talked about or videos made these days about this. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Here's my big bottle of 200 ml. My original was 100. I have a 50. I have the little original minis too. When Dior gave out, I still have like 1 or 2 of them. That 10 ml are in this shape. I'll never crack them open. That's the original juice. I'm sure this is not the same. Comment below if you think, you believe strongly that it has changed or is reformulated as such. You know what I mean. But I call this rocket fuel, and I'm glad everyone hates it. I'm glad everyone hates it. God, it's just the best bottle. The sprayer, man, and then boom. Oh, there's 1/4 spray right there. Here's an 1/8. Boom, and half a spray to the gym. On a date, yeah, you can do it, no problemo. And out to a concert, it's just people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, you smell good." So how terrible is that? How terrible is that? So just wanted to let everyone know that this stuff is, in my opinion, groundbreaking, and it's great. And I like having the counterpoint. And some of you out there are behind me, I know it, and God bless you. But a pretty interesting story nonetheless, how I came upon my Sauvage, as I didn't like it at first, right? Didn't like it. And everyone was just hanging out to dry and just kicking it in the dirt, slamming it on the ground, just trashing it. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. But anyway, I think it's pretty interesting. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.